Hello everyone, I'm Greg Otta with FedScoop TV. Welcome to our IT Modernization Hero Series. I'm talking with John Owens, the CIO of the U.S. Patent and Trademark Office. John, thanks for joining us today.
You're welcome. Thank you very much.
Can you share with our viewers a success story of how your agency has made significant headway in modernizing your IT?
Sure. Well, since coming to the United States Patent and Trademark Office in 2008, we've come a long way. First by modernizing our core infrastructure, and then after about 3-4 years, we started rewriting our IT systems on a modern platform, basically a cloud-based platform, using open source heavily, and slowly replacing core pieces of the infrastructure, and now the pieces of both for the patent and trademark examiners, and soon for the public as well.
Okay. So the administration is proposing this $3.1 billion revolving IT modernization fund. What ideas do you and your agency have, or what types of systems are best suited for this fund?
Well, I think my answer to that is going to be a little interesting for some folks.
Okay.
So the United States government spends approximately $75 billion a year on IT. And that amount of money is approximately 4%. And I really don't, now more money won't hurt, but I really don't feel that it alone will do anything.
Interesting, okay.
It's about how we manage the $75 billion of spend that the federal government does today. So if you think about it, $75 billion being a ton of money, more IT than is spent at most or almost any business in the world, we should be the experts. And I think it's more of the way we manage IT and take money away from supporting and continuing evolving the legacy products and shifting forward to a capital investment in the next generation of systems, slowly rewriting and replacing those that desperately need it, and slowly migrating towards a modern platform. Now, money will certainly help with that. But there is so much investment today, and in my mind, so many failures, that you really have to look at how you manage that money and gain value for the money that you're spending and increase the quality of those replacement products rather than just keep throwing good money after bad.
So what challenges have you encountered inside your own IT modernization, or what has to change in order to accelerate those efforts?
So we've certainly had our series of challenges as well as failures and, of course, successes. We readily embraced agile software development and engineering. We readily embraced user-centered design, or UCD, to meet with our customers to ask what they really want. We also worked very hard to build an entire supporting infrastructure, automated builds, automated tests, all those modern things you'd find in a modern DevOps organization. And I know DevOps is the latest and greatest acronym that's a fad today, but I'm a firm believer in it. The USPTO was the first to host DevOps Days in the Washington, D.C. area. Our next event, well, we hosted it last year for the first time. Our next event's June 8th and 9th, where we're bringing together the best of industry and as well as the government to talk about how to closely integrate Dev and Ops together for quicker turnaround. The idea is no longer to build products and release once a year. We release, in some instances at the USPTO, we release hot fixes daily into production. And that's from identification of problems, resolution, to push into production. Now, you can't do that in an organization that's not culturally tuned for it. So in other instances, patents end, for example, we release quarterly. Trademarks next generation, which is about to release, we release weekly. And that's into production, into the hands. Bugs and features fixed, pushed into production live, in the hands of examiners and trademarks every week, in the hands of patents examiners every month or quarter, depending on where we are. And that's a huge difference compared to when I got there, where if you did one production push a year, that was, astounding.
Right.
So the tools are available. Embracing them culturally, adapting to modern technology and the way things work in industry, forgetting about some of the more traditional things that the federal government does, adopting Agile, adopting DevOps. All of those things are doable. They're a challenge, particularly culturally, but they are all doable, and they set a very firm foundation on which to better manage delivery, and of course acceptance of that delivery is also key.
Finally, how have advances in cloud computing, containerization, agile development, like you were talking about, how's that changed your outlook or your plans for what's possible over the next 18 months in your IT modernization efforts?
Well, everything we've been doing over the past 3 or 4 years is to build the modern systems on those platforms.
Okay.
Everything will be done or is being done virtually, whether it's on our own private cloud, which we have a private cloud based on Red Hat CloudForms, which is compatible with the Amazon cloud, the FedRAMP Amazon cloud, and the FedRAMP Google cloud, which we use heavily for user interfaces to our public-facing systems. So everything is cloud-based. Everything is being done, all the new development is being done agilely, which the USPTO has been doing for over 5 years now. So we have been embracing all of that from the start because it is the only way to grow and stabilize, to really give what customers expect. Back in the 1980s, 1990s, if you had a system and it was only available 9 to 5, that was pretty normal. Today, people are used to Google, which is available 24/7 by 365, and an hour outage will reach the front page of the Washington Post, right? So the only way to do that is on a distributed environment. The only way to do that is embracing these technologies. And I think, whether they're consumers or fee payers in our instance or taxpayers, we expect those modern IT systems to be available 24/7 by 365 because that's the way we deal with all of our IT in our daily lives. So the expectation is there, and no longer will large mainframes and single points of failure, they're not acceptable anymore. So it's no longer a nice thing to have, it's a core necessity to embrace those technologies, which is going to be difficult. It will be challenging. Some of the modernization efforts we took on, modernizing systems that were built in the 1970s, written on mainframes, COBOL, AGIL, languages that quite honestly are no longer taught, or if they are, they shouldn't be. Embracing the change in the culture is also a challenge for agencies because the federal government in general, in my opinion, is not the first to adapt to these things. And now that we're talking about Agile and DevOps and the cloud, which has been around for well over a decade, having the federal government embrace those and having federal employees embrace that change, because it will no longer look like the old systems. I mean, that's critical, right? You're building a new system and using user-centered design and business analytics and modernization, and you're going to build a newer, better product that will not act exactly the same, but will hopefully bring a level of quality and usability to the job to make everyone's life easier after the original, an adjustment period.
Very, very interesting stuff. Thanks for dropping by today, John.
Well, thank you very much for having me.